SoccerChronicle.com informa Los Cachirules, el podcast con más garra, pasión y picardía que hasta el equipo de todos. Y ahora con ustedes, Albert en Chichis Campa.
Hey everybody, this is episode 16 of Los Cachirules podcast presented by SoccerChronicle.com. This is Albert, but passing it over to Dan for our hosting. How's it going, Dan?
I'm doing good. Hello, loyal listeners. Happy New Year. When are we gonna get me like a decent intro, just so I could like? It's kind of like it's like we're fumbling the baton here.
I'll work on it next week. I got some time next week, so you'll have a fresh and clean intro.
Maybe you guys could say like Daniel el Pipiripao Preciado or something.
You'll have just a stunning intro that will make women weep for you.
All right. Well, I mean, as long as it does that, then I think we'll be fine. So, moving along, like I said, Happy New Year, guys. Excited that's the football's about to finally start up again. First, I'll just introduce the crew today. Jolie, hola, Sebes.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you?
Pretty good right here, enjoying the rain.
Has it stopped or is it still going over there?
No, it stopped.
We got a tornado warning. I was telling the guys earlier today, but luckily we're all okay. So Happy New Year, dude. Did you get anything good for Christmas?
Oh, me? No, not really, man.
No,
nada. Santa Claus forgot about me.
I'm thinking Santa Claus maybe saw some of the chat banter and decided that maybe you weren't worthy of receiving any gifts. But
yeah, I think that some of those definitely pushed you toward the naughty list for sure.
I'm thinking perhaps maybe that's the case.
I have to blame Ronnie. He's been a bad influence.
Well, he certainly has been on all of us. Moving along, we have John Jagu. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm great, Dan. Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to everybody else. Santa was a little, he did all right over at the house. It's been a good start to the new year, and it's raining here too, and we need all the rain we can get. So I'm just very happy to start watching some soccer again this weekend. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to another year of Cachirules podcasts.
Well, thank you for joining us, man. It's been it's been too long already. It's kind of itching to get back into it. Oh, we have Juan. Juan joining us as well. Welcome, sir.
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Dan, I know about a good lotion for that itch if you want to take care of it.
What's the name of it? I got a pen right here. I could write it down.
Dude, you're putting me on the spot. Alright, never mind. Forget about it. I can't remember the name. It's a good one, though. I'll send you the link.
You said it on the chat. It was Vagisil.
Yeah, exactly, that one.
It leaves me a little numb. Is it supposed to do that?
Well, you can also use some of that lice-killing shampoo, too. That works real well.
Thank God I don't know what any of that stuff is. Also joining us from Austin, Texas, we have Albert Campas. Welcome, sir. Happy New Year.
Hey everybody, Happy New Year. Glad to be back.
So did Santa bring you anything special, anything noteworthy that you'd like to mention?
No, I think I got some socks.
Are you serious? That's all you got is socks?
Yeah. I need some socks, man.
My uncle used to give me $5 rolled up into an empty box of Reds.
Marlboro Reds?
Yeah, an empty box of Marlboro Reds. He'd roll up like a $5 bill, or maybe like 4 ones or something to make it like feel a little bit heavier. That was an occasional birthday / Christmas gift. It's kind of a nice package, though, right?
Sounds like your uncle was a very generous man.
He was great. He's great. Ladies' man. Avid bowler. And last but not least, Ronnie de Luna. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year, Dan. How you guys doing? Happy New Year to all.
We're doing great. Since I'm doing the Christmas roundup, Santa bring you anything good?
Nothing.
Wow. I actually got a new phone. So there you go, guys.
The last minute negotiations with Santa to get you off the naughty list and put coil on it. Is that what happened there?
I think so. I mean, he punished us, man. He made me work on the 24th, on the 25th. We worked the 31st and the 31st and the first, the New Year. We were busy.
Does the menu change for the holidays?
No. It's a basic menu, but it's for a hospital, so.
No seasonal atole?
Nah, they wouldn't know that. They wouldn't. That sort of client, those type of clients wouldn't know.
Christmas lumpias. Do you add those?
What's that?
Christmas lumpias.
Nah.
How do you pronounce it?
Lumpias, yeah, I think you said it right.
Yeah, none of that. No, they want, believe it or not, some of them even ask for hard shell tacos. Do you believe that? I said, no, we don't do that. We don't do that.
We call them roll tacos here. Taquitos?
Yeah.
No tamales or
Taco Bell one, right?
No, actually, you know
Wait,
what?
they're not the same thing.
We actually we introduced actually this Monday the fajitas. So northern style, like what you would see. Not so much in like in Texas and stuff like that, but what you would see more like in the northern parts. Like Tamaulipas, and so we basically introduced that sort of those sort of fajitas, and they've been a hit. I mean, they're actually outselling the chicken mole. Because they know fajita, So I mean, sometimes we have to explain to people what mole is,
What, like the machaca? That
No,
kind of
not the machaca, not the machaca. I mean, it's I mean, basically, it's almost like what you would see like at Papacitos, like if you were in Houston, for those that know, like Texas and stuff like that, what you would see at a Papacitos, but more, or even in Nympha's, but it's basically how you would see it in like, if you were at a nice restaurant in Tampico or Monterey and stuff like that. But no, it's actually been a hit, so little by little.
Nympha's, yummy. I forgot about that place. That's a good place.
What place?
Nympha's.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's been ages since I was there, but my only beef with her is that she claimed that she invented the green salsa. Can you believe that?
Can anyone make that claim?
No. I mean, they've been doing tomatillo, man, in Mexico since.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's a.
Well, wait a second. But her
Quite
green
claim.
salsa was totally different. It wasn't like salsa verde. It was like salsa verde with aguacate. It was like an aguacate infusion. It's a little different.
But even still, I mean, it's just the audacity. It's like, it's like because I guess the U.S. crowd didn't know any better, so they kind of, like they fell for it, kind of like. How Andres Cantor, like, to the U.S. crowd, he's like the guy that invented the goal,
Right.
Where, like, if you listen to Televisa telecasts from the 1950s and 60s, you hear, Angel Fernandez, or you hear a bunch of those guys, Escopeta, whatever, when they were back in radio before television, screaming those long goal things, So it's kind of like, I guess Nympha's was at the right time, right place when fajitas, took off. In Texas, and then eventually in the entire southwest parts of the U.S., and then obviously nationally, But yeah, man, we worked.
So that was almost a good segue to the football.
Yeah.
But so starting things off, what we'll be discussing today are going to be some Liga MX predictions, some of the transfers. But to begin the show, we probably want to start talking about Marco Fabian's transfer, unexpected transfer to the Bundesliga with Eintracht Frankfurt. Lots been talked about regarding his parting, and perhaps that's why it's contributed to his inconsistent play. Going straight to the Chivista here, Jolie, what do you think? Do you think this was a good, I guess a warranted move? I guess I should the way I want to ask.
I'm a bit surprised because he's been very inconsistent, but I think the coach has been following him and wanted him. But I think one thing that doesn't get mentioned a lot is that seeing how Chivas is, like how important the next 6 months is for the club, he decided to leave. So it kind of tells you how things at the club are, and there's like mistrust where he didn't even want to wait for the club to avoid the drop and then leave.
You know what? I know you said that Jolie's a Chivista, and I take offense to that, Dano. But we'll take that to the next one.
I apologize. It's the Temok. It's the Temok.
It's the Temok avatar. You know, that's a tribute to Ronnie. But you mentioned the team he went to, Schalke 04. They're fighting relegation, which to me that says a lot. That obviously.
Wait, did he go to Frankfurt?
Eintracht Frankfurt. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, but they're fighting relegation. Last I checked, so it took a team fighting a relegation battle to even bid on him when his buyout wasn't that high. If you look at some of the Mexican players that have left in recent memory, so my expectations with Fabian are definitely tempered as well. I think. But did you see Jolie? Did you see the Almeida podcast with Vergara yesterday?
I did, and I was talking to Ronnie about it. It felt like a fluff piece.
You think so?
I mean, people could see it, and then they ask him a hard question, and then they don't follow it up when he answers. It's just like, oh, okay, that explains it, but they never really follow it up. So the only one thing where they played a piece with Nestor, an old recording of Nestor, and then Nestor's talking about all the coaches that have been sacked, and there was about 13 that had less than a year with the club.
Yeah.
And he just kind of dismissed it, and no one really asked. No one said, no one brought anything up about, that's a big factor for the team being in the relegation zone.
Yeah, I think they should have. Wow, that's a record. They definitely should have. They're too nice to him every time they have. I think that's why they keep having him on. Otherwise, he wouldn't come on, dude. But I mean, do you believe his word that he's been trusting the wrong people?
No, man, that's just. I mean, he would have learned. He's not. He's a smart guy where he's managed to amass a fortune. I just think it's him, just playing director técnico.
Yeah, I like when he mentioned that he doesn't go into the locker room, but wasn't that the big falling out with Van Cheeps? That he went into the locker room like at halftime, and he was drunk and.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of stuff that I'm sure they didn't want to call him out on, and it's like, the saying, there's a sucker born every minute. So this is for a lot of the fans that are new to the team, and they're seeing it, and Vergara just comes across as a really caring guy. To
me, it was Almeida. Almeida had the charisma, because even what's his name, Joserra, was like polishing his knob, saying, "Oh, you're the first humble Argentine I've ever met in my life."
See, I see a lot of similarities to the way Vergara runs his operation, the way Jerry Jones does in the NFL with the Cowboys. where you have an owner that's too involved. And if you think about it, there's been over 25 coaching changes since he's been there. There's been over 4 different administration changes. So we're talking over 4 different presidents and over 25 different coaches in a span of 12 years. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, what you do, that sends a message where players don't really respect the management because they know they're not going to be there. You know, they're managers, they're coaches. And I mean, obviously, I really think, and this is not just me, like, you know, the America taking a stab at them and joking at them. I really think that they're gonna be in the relegation zone. I think the pressure's gonna mount, and I think they're going to, and like what Holy said, you know, Fabian, you know, basically going to Europe, you know, I think Fabian, in the back of his mind, he's thinking, dude, if I get relegated, you know, I don't think I'm going to be going to Europe the following season during the summer transfer.
Yeah, but his buyout is less than what it's like half of what Tigres paid for Jurgen Damm.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, to me, it's like maybe it is his last chance, because look, that's one thing that I didn't like about Nestor's management is Carlos Salcedo.
Yeah.
He has a really low buyout, and I guess they, you know, when they brought back Marco Fabian, they also negotiated a really low buyout so these guys can leave. And I mean, I think that's bad. That's bad business.
But you know what? That just says how a lot of players didn't want to come to the club. You basically had to convince them to come, and I think that's a better alternative than what happened with like Angel Reina, where they pay him all this money, and then you're stuck with them, and then you know.
Yeah, but Angel Reina, you know, that was a bad deal because bad management as well. You know, you bought this guy and then you send him to second division.
But look, when you see Gullit crying, that tells you what, you know. People don't want to go to Chivas, man. That's the sad reality.
Are you guys saying the players hate Vergara?
I just think they don't trust the club. I think they see it for what it is. It's a bad club to be in right now. I mean, Fabian didn't. Not even Omar Bravo wanted to come back.
Did you guys notice, like, when they won the Copa MX, that no one, like, Vergara went out on the field and everything, but no one went and, like, congratulated him and hugged him? I don't think Omar Bravo even went out there and recognized him. He was just out alone by himself, wasn't he? That was sort of...
I wasn't watching Chiquis. It felt
dude,
like a moral victory.
He just seemed like a loner out there, and then the players, you'd think they would be like, yeah, man, you're an integral part in us gaining this, you know, this.
I think he's got to be the only owner in the Liga MX that is doing that. Did the Tijuana's guy, you know, all the money they invested, did they jump on the field when they won with Mohamed?
Well,
Yeah,
the used to be that way, but then he calmed down. What's his name? Jesus Ramirez? What the guy from
Martinez.
Oh my, yeah, the Pachuca guy.
He used to be really outspoken and stuff, sort of like Vergara, and then he sort of calmed down.
No, but he's very involved with the Martinez, the Pachuca group. He's very involved, but the difference between him and Vergara is that he lets football people make a lot of the decisions. I mean, keep in mind that Martinez, he experienced 2 relegations. I mean, he was in it for the long haul. So I mean, that tells you something, like, you know, because when he bought Pachuca in the early '90s, I mean, they were relegated twice. I mean, and he still stuck with it. He still stuck with the team. So I mean, in that respect, you gotta give him credit for that. Who knows? I mean, who knows if Vergara is gonna jump ship? You know?
Yeah, he's also not a publicity hound like Vergara is. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to listen to Raza Deportiva where they call Jorge Vergara, and you know, he's on this show and that show, and you know, yeah, kind of like what Ron said. I mean, he's very much like Jerry Jones in the sense that he has to be intimately involved in the decisions. You know, and I always remember the interview that Bob Costas had with Jerry Jones. He said, Jerry, you've been the general manager of the team for the past, I don't know, 14, 15 years. You have, one playoff victory, 2 playoff victories in that time. You haven't been to the Super Bowl since. If you had a general manager that had that kind of record, what would you say? I'd fire him.
I know. I remember that.
Jerry, are you gonna fire yourself? Absolutely not. It's like, well then, dude. And Vergara is unfortunately for Chivas fans, and it's very sad to me. It's very similar. I mean, Chivas is just not going to get better until he either steps back and actually lets people do their job, or just cuts himself out completely and sells the team. And I mean, I don't think they're going to get relegated this year. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be like ugly tight there in the last few weeks, especially if Dorado starts stringing some wins together.
Slump buster ugly.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be in fecha 15 white knuckling the whole game because you can't afford to lose. You know what I mean? And it's going to, and you're like please, you're going to be begging for a 0-0. Please let this be 0-0. It's going to be rough, and it's just unfortunate that an institution. I think that Joel had mentioned this a few weeks ago. And it's an institution that has been riding the coattails of what they did, 50 years ago? I mean, come on.
It's more like 60 now.
60 years ago. I mean, it's time to move away from that. I mean, there are other teams that have had that kind of glory. They've moved away and they've started their own traditions, and they went and found glory again. I mean, that's what Chivas has to do. I just don't know if it's going to happen with Vergara in charge, in the sense that he either, like you guys said, he needs to just back off and let people actually do it, or just sell the team outright and let the new guy come in and see what they can do.
The thing is that when he brought in he brought in one new guy, what's the name, Rafa Puente Jr., and he kind of had some really bad deals. Like for example, Gudiño, really a good goalkeeping prospect. That'd probably be the first team starter for Chivas. They kind of let him go really cheap and sent him on loan, and they're the ones that brought in Reina at a bad price and high wages. And gosh, I can't even remember the rest of the signings.
Chivas is a lot like America in the sense that they need to find, for them to have a good team, they need to find players. They don't have to be like the superstars. They just need to find players that have a job and they do it really, really well. Like a really good central defender, or a really good wing back, or a midfielder that's just, not a glory hound or anything, just a guy that shuts the other team down and gets things going, and doesn't ask for bliss, doesn't get it, and just goes out as his job.
You know what?
Don't have those guys.
Sorry to interrupt, but one of the things that also is sad. It's sad for many people, is that for many years, Jalisco, Guadalajara, their teams, used to play very good football, very good soccer, and right now, I mean, you have Tecos that are gone, you have Leones Negro, they're gone. Atlas, they're really no better than Chivas. I mean, they're also in the relegation zone, and obviously, Chivas, they're in the relegation zone. And I mean, I see what's going on over there in Monterrey, where those two teams are basically just competing against each other neck and neck, and I just don't see that sort of competition with the teams in Guadalajara. So I mean, something's going, and it's a shame. I know that Atlas has new ownership. With TV Azteca, I'm sorry. But, that's just one of the things that I was thinking about, not too long ago. Was like, man, what the hell is going on over there in Guadalajara? I mean, how sad would it be if, that town didn't have, a first division football team?
I think definitely there's something wrong at the Fuerzas Básicas levels, because you can't be a team that depends on your cantera, and then, your prospects, they're probably Pachuca has players that are twice as good as your best talent, so something's amiss in there.
Well, here's another thing that you knew that things were a little off in Guadalajara, with Atlas. I mean, I couldn't remember the last time Atlas had a foreign, goalkeeper. I mean, they were stacked with them. They had Cabuto, they had Osvaldo Sanchez, they had, I mean, you name them, they had them. They had Navarrete, they had a bunch of them. And like it seems like the last couple months, have been foreigners. So I mean, obviously Atlas is not producing what they used to produce. Chivas is not really producing what they used to produce either. Although they produce good league players, they never really produce great national team players. But I honestly think the best thing that Chivas could do is Vergara basically just sell out. I mean, just sell and get a new ownership group.
You know what? I think it's well, how do you say that's
Happy New Year, Pern.
Oh, Happy New Year. Feliz Nuevo Año a todos.
Educated
Sorry,
people say
New Year, dude.
I should have introduced myself. I was kind of into the conversation.
Cultured people say Happy New Year, Pern.
Oh, sorry.
I'm busting balls, dude. I'm busting balls.
So, anyway, what I was going to say was that...
Did Santa get you anything?
What? What happened?
Did Santa get you anything?
Tu hermana. Anyways. So...
Oh, snap.
So... And what
Why
I was
are you getting... Why are you getting open gifts, Pern?
Very, very well said, Pern.
Hey.
I was actually laughing quite loud, but and was accidentally on mute, so but I enjoyed it.
I'm glad I could give you something to enjoy. Toma.
Well, apparently you've been giving somebody's sister something to enjoy.
Yep. The whole package right here. Hey, so anyway, I was gonna go back to that whole conversation. That one of the things have you guys noticed that, like, what's his name? Ronnie was saying that there's been a decline for some time already, and one of the things that you can tell that has helped the decline is how Chivas overhypes their players. A lot of their players that come out of there, they just been total busts. They haven't produced, and even if they went out there, they came back as a failure. So like Omar Bravo, that's the biggest example. He's their top goal scorer, and he's been there for like a million years. And honestly, he's been just a journeyman that outside of Chivas, he's done nothing. When he was Deportivo Coruña, trash.
He saved Atlas from going to second division.
Well, I guess he helped his enemies. But either way,
Pern, he was the preferred striker of La Volpe.
What the hell was that? Oh my gosh.
Molotov.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's my
Awesome.
point, is that they overhype their players, and that's actually what's been doing them, bringing them down, because now you don't have players that were actually good that could have gone through the ranks and, oh, well, there's Bofo, let's put him on there. He was trash.
It's an interesting point, Pern. I don't necessarily. I mean, they have. I don't know if it's the team or if it's the media Guadalajara that does that. But what I've noticed over the past few years, and I thought that Guadalajara had a fantastic youth system because there were so many good players that were coming out of it. I think the biggest issue for them is that they were using too many of them at the same time, where they didn't have that veteran presence to help them out when there was a certain amount of adversity that they'd never had to deal with before, and all they had was each other, and there wasn't necessarily a very strong leader to help them through it. I know that Chaton is a great leader, but he was hurt way too much. But I think of how many guys that I thought were just going to be just as great players, like Cristian Alvarez and the Gaucho, who I thought was going to be sensational. You can just go down the list.
Gauchito got injured, dude.
Yeah, I know, and he got injured after the whole.
John,
yes,
that's about the time when a lot of the problems started, because they started selling off all the players like Massa, Salcido, some of those guys, and they never really replaced them. They would just sell them, and Vergara would expect someone from the cantera to slide in, and they weren't really like bringing in someone of that level.
And
Exactly.
also Hans left the organization around that time too, maybe a year before.
Well, and it's sad that it's that happened 10 years ago now, and I guess maybe in that 10 years, you guys follow Chivas more than I do, but outside of Chicharito, who has come out of Chivas that has made a lasting impact not only on Chivas but on the national team.
Salcido.
No, but this was. I mean, talking about this was after Salcido left and Massa left. All
After
those
Salcido, yeah.
Yeah.
Miguel
to me-
Sabah had that late bloom.
To me, Salcido was probably the breakout player that Chivas had, because Chivas went years. I'm talking at least 2 decades without really having a star player, meaning that national team player, consistent.
That came out of their own thing. Yeah.
That came out of their own, exactly. Salcido was probably the first one in 20 years. I mean, obviously they had they tried to pump up the De La Torre brothers in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, but they were good. They were the flavor of the month for a while. But Salcido was consistent. Massa, he grew into his own and became consistent. Obviously Chicharito's grown into what he is right now, but I think that
Chicharito's probably the last guy.
Well, I mean, I think Salcido, when it's all said and done and his career's over, I think he's going to be one of the best Mexican defenders, of all time. But the last one.
Is he still playing?
Salcido? Yeah, but he's not. He's lost a step. I mean, he's lost. He's at the end.
He's lost several steps.
Yeah, but
he was fantastic. He really was fantastic.
Oh, he
There's
was.
No question about it.
He was.
He was fast, but he was an intelligent defender. There, I said it. Always out of position because of his speed.
Did he lack something like a gene or something? Or
I don't know, dude. I always saw him in shorts, man. I'm sorry.
He just came too fast.
It's just those trainee thoughts, man. They'll get you. They'll get you.
So just to reach a consensus, do y'all think that Fabian made a good decision in jumping ship and heading over to Frankfurt?
Yes.
No. He might have started ahead of
Orbelin
and Orbelin and Gulitzo probably for his career.
I think he did, and if you see one of his last interviews before he left, he talked about how overjoyed he was once the transfer came through. So it says a lot of where he was, like, mentally. Because if you saw him playing 2011, 2012, everyone expected so much more. And then I think it really affected him a lot, not making the jump.
Plus, I think it's better to be relegated with Frankfurt than in Chivas.
True. No, I don't know. I just think it's, you don't have too much time to really adapt with your team when you move into the winter break. That's one thing. Also, Germany, he's going to be. Well, I don't know how. It's also the climate, the language. May affect Fabian. I mean, obviously, he's talented, but you sometimes have to question his will. I know that Carlos Alberto always made fun of Fabian or what do you call him? Marquito, stuff like that, because please don't boo me. It hurts me,
Hey, I think he adjusted very well in London.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that maybe because of the fact that he's in Germany, because of the fact that it's cold, because of the fact that he's on a new team, the only thing he's going to have maybe is playing. And if he just concentrates on that, then maybe we'll finally see the player that we all know he can be. That he's only shown flashes of. Maybe this is his opportunity to finally say, what, this is the guy I'm going to be. Of course, I'm the eternal optimist. I always think that things are always going to work out for folks. I mean, obviously he has the, maybe his mental makeup isn't as strong as I think, but hopefully that'll be the case. I mean, like I said, if he can manage to play well with Frankfurt, if he can find a way on the starting side, maybe help him win a couple of games and score some goals and help him steer out of relegation, then obviously it's going to be a great move. But if he's just on the bench and plays every third game or every other game and doesn't see much playing time and doesn't do much when he's there, then it's obviously it's not going to work out for him. But I think the other thing is going to happen, because I think that he understands that this is it. This is it for him. If he really wants to get to where he wants to be, he's going to have to work at it. And in Germany, they don't they don't play those games. It's that German efficiency that you're either going to have it or you don't, and they don't really care one way or the other.
The good
They
thing,
don't look for excuses.
Él va a
good-
trascender.
the good thing about Fabian is that he came recommended by Pavel Pardo, who obviously the coach was at Stuttgart and stuff like that. So obviously he was around Osorio, he was around Pavel Pardo. So that's probably the only good thing that I can see. This is that
The thing is, those guys had a work ethic on the field.
One thing that I think hasn't been mentioned though, and I think does bear mentioning, is the fact that it seems like the team is really betting on him. Unlike some of the other fringe players that we probably thought weren't really worthy of going to Europe, say like maybe Fonseca and Bravo, who probably didn't have the greatest.
You take that back about
experience.
Fonseca, dude.
I'm sorry. He did manage to do that, to do an eagle dance once. But yeah, I think they seem to be. I mean, they gave him the number 10 jersey, so it sounds like they're expecting him to save them. So that's, in some ways, it's a good thing, because if it's the one, if the pressure or the to be the man is what's been lacking, well, now he's going to have his chance. I personally think Frankfurt made a mistake, but I hope I eat my words, and I hope he does take advantage of this opportunity.
Hey, thanks to Chicharito, they're riding that Mexican hype, man.
That's true, huh?
Actually, Pavel Pardo and Massa and all those dudes,
Yeah, those guys actually did well.
they were the pioneers of.
They won the championship in their first season. It's amazing.
They did. Was it more Pavel who actually pulled the strings, or actually kind of gave the, go ahead and to take a chance on them? But it just, I don't know. It just seems like kind of, like you guys mentioned in the beginning of the show, that came out of left field. I never thought I'd see the day. I'm really anxious to see him play and see how he's able to do. But we can't be expecting much either, because this is a relegation team. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. Well, before we change subjects, talking about another player that came up through Chivas, Miguel Sabá, who also played in Cruz Azul and other teams. He's retiring after 15 years. He scored a couple key goals for the U.S. national team.
The U.S. national team?
No, I'm sorry, the Mexican national team. The Mexican national team. Sorry about that. I had a little brain fart there.
Not the first time.
No, what do you guys think of him retiring? What do you guys think of him retiring?
Honestly, I know he had his moments.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, meh. I think he's going to be there probably with some of the other guys who had their time with the national team. Like, gosh, I'm trying to think of some of these guys. Like, I mean, Bravo,
Cepeda, Chato, guys that were just, they just.
Israel Castro.
They were the
Stopgaps.
flavor. Yeah, they were the flavor of the month for just a little bit, and then nothing. No, I will, like I posted, like I tweeted, I will always appreciate Sabah for his brutal honesty. That
Get it out, Ronnie. You've been holding this in. Get it out.
Yes.
I know that hurtful, truthful honesty when he said that América asusta, que le tiene miedo. That was awesome.
Was he at Cruz Azul when he said it?
Yeah,
He
but those
It
feelings
makes
were still
sense.
it. What's that?
That's Cruz Azul for you right there, man.
I know. And then what was it? Back in 2013, El Sambu, said that if he's scared, he needs to choose another profession.
Hey, I wanted to talk about Pulido because it's kind of interesting what's going on.
Because Ronnie just wants to pick on Miguel.
He wants to Sabah.
Cruz Azul guy.
He's overrated, man. Pulido should just come back to Mexico, beg for forgiveness, and
No,
and
no.
that's it.
Just went out to reach him, right?
There's this
Thing
one
is, he
thing.
can't.
Well,
Check it out. Go ahead, Jolie.
Go ahead, Jolie.
I don't know if you guys, I thought it was gonna be a done deal once the TAS ruling, which is I'm saying it in Spanish, but the Court for Arbitration of Sport, they ruled in favor of Tigres, so I figured at that point, he would be returning at least to Mexico, but that Olympiacos is trying to negotiate him. I'm like, what's going on there? How did they manage to pull that one off? Which led to my next thing about the importance of Pacto de Caballeros. Hello?
Yeah. We're listening.
Continue. Go on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm used to you guys interrupting. I'm just waiting for it. No. So I think it's like I haven't heard any news on that. Like what?
It's because they're a
how
bunch
is
of
that?
primitives. They're a bunch of primitives.
How is it even possible? That Olympiacos practically they're practically stealing him.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense because doesn't Chivas own 50% of his rights?
No, that
begin
was
with?
that was Higuera trying to negotiate Pulido, and he tried to get him again, and he failed.
No. When Nestor was still here, though, they bought 50% of his rights.
No, they did a deal that they would, but that was Higuera's deal.
That was in Nestor's deal?
Nah, that was all Higuera.
Because
And what's
Nestor
the deal
was
with
around.
them? What's the deal with them asking 22 million for Pulido in the first place? I mean, it's not even theirs.
He's not even playing. Never mind, he's not theirs.
Well, if you heard the interview with Vergara, he talked about how they wanted to send him to Belgium, like to a second division team or something like that on loan.
Hasn't Tigres made the argument though that it's not for Olympiacos to sell?
That's the thing. I haven't heard anything from Tigres. It's like they haven't said anything.
Ultimately, the only one that's losing out here is Pulido.
Yeah, he already lost a lot. He probably practically threw away his career.
Do you think there's no more comeback from this?
Well, he's got to start playing. That's the thing. I mean, at some point, he needs to get this thing resolved and just start playing wherever.
Yeah, well, Europe's gonna be difficult because he has he's a foreigner, so.
Who's done nothing in the last 2 years. Like hardly someone you want to really. But on the flip side, if he goes on a free transfer, then he could probably come cheap, and he could probably maybe find a place on a second tier type of league on a mid table lower table team. Who knows?
Frankfurt.
Or
There
Chivas?
you go.
I thought you were going to say Chivas for a second.
I would still bet on Pulido ahead of Fabian if I were Frankfurt. If we're gonna go in that direction again, but I don't want this to become the hate on Fabian show because I'm sure people will start crying about that.
He's one of the players that was not really too overhyped, and he was actually good. I think the way he performed in 2012 in the Olympics was just phenomenal.
Well, I think a lot of us kind of already had him shoot in as like one of the guys that was probably going to be starting for the national team at some point.
The thing is, you had good cooperation between Pulido, Fabian, and H. That's why Pulido scored all those goals because you had H doing a lot of the dirty work and then combining with Fabian to put the last touch, and it was beautiful. But I think you guys maybe, in my opinion, your memories are a little off there.
Well,
all the credit.
Well, I guess my thing with Fabian is that like the times that I guess most of those times that I've seen him shine were not to diminish that, but I just like to see him be somewhat consistent. I've never really seen any kind of like in league play. I've never seen it.
Because he's not a. I don't think he's a player that can carry a team. I think he doesn't like that pressure. I think he needs to be a role player.
And that's what makes this whole move so interesting. Is that what's going to happen? Is he going to be able to handle? Because do you guys agree that he's going to be the guy that they're going to be looking to?
He's got to become. He's actually becoming the savior of Frankfurt. If you look at it that way, that people are going to expect that from him. It's going to be a lot of pressure on him.
And maybe guilty by association with the whole Chicharito success. That maybe I think the expectations are going to be thinking like, yeah, well, we're going to be expecting you to deliver. Although that's kind of a silly assumption.
You know what though? At the same time, maybe it's a no-lose. It's like a win-win for him because if he doesn't do well, nobody expected him to do well. But if he does, and if he does well, maybe he's back in the national team, right? The national team picture.
Automatically. I mean, that's been typically the case. Is that if you're a starter in Europe, it usually translates to, at minimum, you're going to be on the bench for the national team at minimum. But yeah, I think from his perspective, it's absolutely the right thing to do. I don't think there was really much for him to do at Chivas. I mean, at least this presents like a whole new challenge for him. I do wish him all the luck, even though it doesn't really sound like it.
I guarantee Fernando will be the first one to get his Frankfurt shirt. Does he suddenly transform into a different player?
Well, actually, I'm thinking all of us should be buying like Jonathan Dos Santos. Aside from Chicharito, he's the one who's actually doing really well in Europe right now.
He doesn't play.
And it's funny.
What?
He seems to.
Yeah, he played in the last game.
Oh, I'm sorry. He doesn't play for Mexico.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's true.
Jonathan?
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't seem to manage to convince any of the. Has it been three coaches?
What are you talking about? He was starter on the Piojo.
Yeah, in the Gold Cup he was getting some
time. Okay, my bad. That's right. But for Tuca and so far for Osorio, he hasn't really managed to get much playing time.
Well, yeah, but I don't know what happened there. But he's been doing fantastic. Like he's been a starter for Villarreal. He's been scoring some goals. I think he scored a very important one in the Copa del Rey too. I can't remember against who it was, but he scored right off the corner kick. It was a bounce. It was just an amazing curveball, and I think we should overlook him. Man, he's actually doing aside from Chicharito, he's the one who's doing the best in my opinion.
Well, luckily there's a few players that are doing pretty good. I don't think anybody's kind of trying to knock his contributions, but anyways, I guess what we wanted to do is also cover the league, the upcoming league. We were discuss Chivas. So, do you guys think just to finish off with Chivas, we all think that they're probably going to stay, correct?
Stay where in Jalisco?
Stay in first division.
I see Dorados saving Chivas.
You mean Chivas Junior?
Pretty much. They'll take the dive. They'll take the dive for the team.
I think it'll be down to the last game, and I think Chivas will be relegated.
Hey, well, didn't John predict that they were going to be the Aquaman Chivas from Cancun? You guys didn't read his article?
No, I'm bad host, but no, I didn't read it.
I think it was satire.
Orbelín's going to be the man. Save Chivas.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. The signings that they got, I think at the very least is gonna keep them afloat. Some of the other teams that obviously the front runners is probably going to be again Tigres and America. Who else can step up this season and challenge them? Fernando, what do you think? Rayados?
Well, Rayados is always going to be a contender for the title, of course. But I think another dark horse is going to be Chiapas. La Volpe is even he's making good work out of the trash players that he has. So I think he might actually surprise us again.
Or you mean he's turning the players into trash?
The other way around, trash
Depends on
into
your
gold.
It's
depends
like
on your
the chicken or the
perspective,
egg.
right?
Yeah, chicken or the egg type of thing.
I want to see how Piojo does at Cholos. That's going to be interesting. He got some. He signed some, not real great players, but some okay
Do you
players.
think they can contend for the league, or are we just thinking make La Liga to and then move forward?
Just make the Liguilla. They might be able to do that.
But as far as challenging the Liga, do you guys see anybody else really making a run? Because there usually is one team that kind of manages to play consistent.
Besides Tigres?
Yeah, because I'm thinking Tigres and America are the two obvious choices.
Well, you have to look at the eternal semifinalists.
Hey, what about Pumas? They managed to. I mean, they turned that final around. It was kind of a crazy.
How does the team look though from compared to last season? Beto, you been keeping up? Are you there?
Yeah, I don't think much has changed. I haven't been concentrating too much on it, but I just heard rumors like Picolín was leaving, but I don't think anything was solid. I think they might pretty much have their same team.
So assuming it's the same team, do you think they can make another decent run?
I think so, but it sort of just depends. It could go south real easily, but I mean they have the players and they have the team to do pretty much the same, but yeah, we'll just have to see, and it sort of just depends on who they play, and because their style of play to me isn't like a dominant America type of play where they have the possession. It's more of like a risky. You have to capitalize on your opportunities since they don't have many. But in this last season, they sort of did capitalize on every single opportunity. They had high percentage for goal scoring, and so if they can maintain that, which is sort of hard to do, then they'll do good. But it could go the other way.
Yeah, I want to read John's his comment on Chivas because he's not here. So this is what he said. He said the special one's this is from his article. The special one's nemesis. Pep Guardiola spurns offers from the EPL to coach the team closest to his heart, Dorados de Culiacán, out of relegation hell. The move is bad news for Chivas, who can't overcome Pep's fishies and slide down to Liga Ascenso. Not wanting to take the blame for the humiliating turn of events, Jorge Vergara sells Chivas a week before the fateful fall. The new owners move quickly to swap franchises with promoted Atlante. Chivas becomes Aqua Chivas de Cancun, while Atlante de Jalisco plays Ascenso games in the OmniLife and draw better than Chivas ever did. And I think Jolie told me he agreed with this.
What? Oh man.
I think it's excellently written.
Good predictions.
Oh yeah, it's
I have a feeling that Cruz Azul's gonna make a run.
Have they made actually any additions to the team to?
Yeah, they have. They have. I don't know. I just think it's. I mean, their signings are a little bit interesting. I mean, like I said, I mean, they don't have on paper they don't have a bad team. You know, Boy, is not a. Obviously, he hasn't won a title yet, but he does put teams that are competitive. And the guy, believe it or not, like I said, he hasn't won a title, but I've seen, some of these teams, it's like, with the limited team, he's been able to get, pretty good results. I think that Boy, I'm not going to say that they're going to win it, but I think they're going to make a run for it.
So you think he's a better manager than Zinedine Zidane? He said he was a better player than him, right? Definitely a better manager.
Boy is very, and I respect this about people that they don't sugarcoat things. They tell you like it is, and that comes across as abrasive to some. To others, you may say he's impulsive. You may say he's, arrogant. But his teams, I've always, with Cruz Azul, what is it, Morelia and stuff like that. I think he's a coach that should be in the league, and I think that he'll put his stamp this year with the team. Obviously, the ideal situation would be for him to, for Cruz Azul to reach the final and lose in the finals, just so we can, laugh.
Keep the lulz.
Yep.
But I think one of the reasons though that they root against him or that they don't like him is it's not so much because he tells it like it is. He tells it how he sees it, which is a big difference. I think a lot of the things he said is absurd. I mean, the way he hates on Giovanni is just there's really no sense to it.
Is he right though? Because look at Gio. Look where Gio's at now, and look at his motivation. Maybe that's why he kept kind of riding him. Calling him El Gordito.
Giovanni retired from the national team and from professional football, so oh well.
But I mean, I remember him being on the broadcast on Univision, and all he did was call out for every single offside. I mean, you never hear like the analysts go on out of his way to just make that point of calling out a specific player over and over and over again. And I mean, it's like, we get it, you don't like him. I don't think it was really reasonable. I mean, say what you want about what he's doing now. Giovanni was one of our best players and one of our most clutch players that we've had in the last, I would say, 5-6 years.
He's baiting people. He just wants to get attention and notoriety and attract people to his just everything about him. And I think he actually wants he would love to take the national team. I think that's what his end goal is in mind.
He's gonna have to do something miraculous. I mean, well, one, I guess Sosotti's gonna have to actually do poorly, or they're gonna have to run him out of town, and he's gonna have to probably win a championship with Cruz Azul if he wants to.
If he was with Cruz Azul, the national team was his.
Yeah, I'm not saying immediately. I'm not saying immediately, but if he wins, with Cruz Azul, okay. If he and in the future, like in a couple of years or whatever, eventually.
Don't laugh. Be nice.
If the Easter Bunny makes a delivery, we'll all have a bunch of candies and eggs and shit stuff.
Oh, and
my teams, the ones that I think are going to be in the top 4, are going to be América, Tigres, Cruz Azul, and Toluca. I think those are going to be the top 4. I think just because of the way they're playing, and the roster and the depth and everything, the coach, how they're being coached. And how they're being administered, I think obviously America and Tigres are the clear favorites in that regard. As Holy said, Joel, Toluca, they're like right now just they're the ya merito right now. They're constantly in the semifinals.
Well, they're never going to get past it if they continually play the way they did.
I think Cardoso, Cardoso's not a bad coach. He seems to change a lot in the playoffs, and I think that experience will teach him, soon, that hey, just do what you were doing in the regular season. Because I mean they play during the season. They play some pretty good soccer. What's that?
My prediction on America: either Nacho Ambriz wins a title, or he gets fired during this coming season.
Do you guys think it's gonna affect America not having had a preseason?
No, in fact, one of the things that's going to help America is that come March the Champions League will start up again, So obviously there's going to be rotation of players. So there's going to be more players that are going to be playing, and obviously this is going to have going to be able to choose from more players, as opposed to just like if you were just playing like the season, and obviously how they use Copa MX right now. A lot of the teams to basically play the guys that aren't playing in the league or play the.
It looks like we lost Ronnie.
Well, you know what I wanted. I guess while Ronnie comes back, I wanted to bring up Atlas, and weren't they supposed to get Ronaldinho in and Rafa, and I'm not sure who else.
That was a rumor. At least that's what I had heard. Where's Rafa?
Rafa's with him. He's not going to help though. We'll see, but.
What about Ronaldinho? Did they sign him?
No.
Okay, I'll be quiet. Sorry.
Not that I've seen. I heard those rumors also, but I haven't seen anything validating that he's.
Just to touch on one of the
Sorry about that.
topics.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead, Ronnie.
It's that Obama phone. Sorry.
You got one of those too?
No, hell no.
Take her.
You got Obamacare, not Obama phone.
Yeah.
Just real quick, just touch on Ambris's fate after this season. I think he's going to have to either win the league or win the Champions League again. It's kind of interesting. I'm wondering if how long are we going to be looking at this scenario where it's going to be Tigres and America, the clear favorites, going into these competitions. But I think Nacho is going to be okay as long as he wins one of those two.
Well, he's got to control his players too. He got to reduce the red cards, yellow cards.
Well, if he didn't learn after what happened with the infighting, like the fist fight, and like you said, the yellow cards, the 2 red cards in both games. So if they don't sort that out, then yeah, he's got to go. Because I think that's really the main reason that they probably didn't reach the final.
Though Ambris doesn't seem like that type of personality that he can enforce. He can impose his will on the players. He seems like he's just too much of a nice guy. With his players, or kind of a pushover.
I think they should have. Yeah, I agree with that. I think they should have got rid of one of them, like Goltz, Paul Goltz. I think they should have got rid of him. He's like one of their main hotheads. You can't get rid of Sambu because that guy's just too good. But...
And have they figured out his contract situation? I know he's been wanting to re-sign.
He signed.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah. He actually signed when he was in Japan.
When is Güemes coming back?
Don't know, but it came out, what is it, yesterday or the day before, that Cortez still hasn't called him to see how he's doing.
Damn.
I know, that's what I'm saying, I mean, hell, when was it Sambu had that accident, when in Sambu was just a freak accident when Crozas from Cruz Azul was injured. Boom! That night in the morning, you had Sambu and you had America officials, calling Cruz Azul and calling Crozas up, and saying, "Hey, how you doing, buddy?"
Pobrecito.
Well, I mean, you're looking out for a colleague, a fellow guy in your trade. You're looking out for his well-being. So, I mean, it just shows you how, a player that plays in Mexico's leading university still has no class, no education.
Yeah, well, what's the that's the same comment that Moises Munoz said. Like, this is supposed to be the leading university, and why are they making these racist comments and stuff? But these guys aren't.
What comment? What comment are you referring to?
Yeah, which one was it?
Which one? I lost track.
Refresh my memory.
Yeah.
You know what, Ronnie? You mentioned too about Marquito crying. Didn't Ricardo Peláez also? He was crying because they were getting mocked. I can't remember what game it was anymore, but it was definitely this. It was recent, this last month at least.
No, he wasn't.
That he didn't appreciate the booing or. Here, you know
No,
what? I'm gonna
no,
Google it now, man.
no.
What I was saying though, that
It was
yeah,
the racist chants. That's what you were. That
well,
it was a it was the racist chants towards Darwin and Toluca, and also the. No, that's the only time I recall him saying anything about it.
but on
Yeah.
that comment that Moises said and that you just said though, the Pumas players aren't graduates from the university. They're not. They're only wearing. You know more than I do the history or the.
Well, obviously, yeah, because you have a lot of foreigners, there. I mean, obviously, Pumas has also had a lot of foreigners in the past too, but
It's just the way
there was a certain there was a certain way that players from UNAM would conduct themselves. Even though a bunch of them were not college educated or graduates, they were expected to conduct themselves in a certain manner. So I just think it's funny when you have certain when you have players like the Pico Picolín and the Palacios brothers, who they tend to lose. I mean, they're hotheads and they're funny to watch. When they lose, they're cool.
Man, they're fools and stuff.
Yeah.
But
but I just thought that was interesting. That Cortés still hadn't contacted the.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I don't know the details on that, but yeah, that would be messed up.
So
Yeah.
that was with Darwin Quintero and Darío Virón, right? The thing that happened on the field.
Yeah.
That was the last one. Yes.
That was alleged, though. Allegedly.
Yeah, that was patadas de ahogado.
Yeah, it's funny, like the screenshots of Verón with his mouth open and stuff. Hey, look what he's saying. a still photo of it. Okay.
Well, I'm still wondering what the report. Keep in mind that the Mexican Federation cleared him, and obviously I think they cleared him just because they just didn't want to deal with it. But Mexico's actual, their government agency that actually deals with, with discrimination, they still haven't made a ruling. So it could very well be that once the season starts, and that government agency wants to be in the news and they want to be relevant, they may come out with that report. So I think it would be interesting to see once they do come out with that report to see if they really did the investigation. If Verón said it, I think the press will have a field day with it.
Well, ultimately, it's dependent upon whether or not they have any kind of evidence that, like some kind of recording. I'm assuming, right? Because I'm assuming they're not going to just be able to just take the word out of one guy and make a ruling based off that.
True, but I mean, if there were witnesses, that could play a factor.
Like who? Who's gonna write out?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like anybody who would speak on, it's going to be coming. Like you're not going to hear unless it came from a Pumas player, which that's not going to happen.
They don't, because they're not. They're shady, players now over there at UNAM. They're not the educated type anymore.
They're certainly not setting an example of representing the institution of Mexico.
Nah.
Definitely true.
So you want them to narc? You want them to be rats? To be like to basically tell everybody what's going on in the field?
So I mean, well, obviously, I mean, Dan, this goes to you. This question: if you're the agency that deals with discrimination, and you have Verón, and you have Darwin Quinteros, who would you believe, Dan?
Who would I believe? I think it goes to a point more similar to any kind of criminal case where you'd have to have evidence one way or another.
Basically, you would vote against Darwin, because
for lack of evidence.
Okay, not because of his skin color.
Absolutely not. No.
I'm kidding.
No.
Okay.
I would actually go the same way as Dan. Like, there's just no evidence. There's no evidence. Yeah.
Nice. I really do have to keep my camera off because like I keep it on and then I get you guys all like hot and bothered.
Yeah, she read the chat.
No, so yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, I don't think the government agency. I think they're going to drop it. Because it's already passed. And cool heads have already prevailed, and obviously, I just think. I don't know. I think it'd be funny if if they would come up with it. If they did come up, with the investigation, because I really don't think that the Mexican Federation did anything.
I think, like you mentioned, though, like if they went ahead and did something like that, it would come off. At least personally, it would come off to me as more of a publicity stunt to make a point. It's like, look, everybody who's paying attention, we're handling this. It's like almost like a precautionary measure to make sure that there's not even any kind of semblance of kind of discrimination and them allowing it. But I don't think anything will come of it, and I don't think it should, just based on the lack of evidence. But we'll see how that pans out.
I just saw on Twitter that America has such classy players that two of them were suspended for the first fecha
Yeah.
from cards. Well, at least Herrera is one of them, though. So you got two Americanistas and then one Pumas who won't be playing the first jornada.
Well, that's not too bad. I mean, I thought you were going to give me something more juicy as for like they did something like stupid during the off season to get themselves suspended for the first game, which would have been.
Yeah.
On another note, something juicy.
There are trading methods. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Beto. There are trading methods. Remember that video with I think it was Herman Villa and Cabañas, the odd training methods that are employed at America, which I don't want to get into. Go ahead, Beto.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were they doing?
How can you say?
That's when they were taking the picture at the beginning of the game, right? Or who was that? That was America too?
No, it's when the Cabañas and Villa were.
Are you talking about that stretching photo?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay.
No.
Yeah, they're stretching each other's shorts.
There's too many incidents to count. Dang.
Yeah, makes sense.
Where the guy up front, the guys in the front.
Oh yeah.
And then the guy comes up from behind them and starts.
It starts goosing them.
Yeah. For the picture.
Those photographers are just awful, man. Like, I mean, the guys are playing grab ass, and then here these little vultures are just waiting to just catch that one little moment to snap a photo.
Well, it was a video. It wasn't a picture. It was a video. Well, I mean,
yeah. Never mind. I was trying.
No, but I was gonna say.
I bet you Cabañas is right now at his at his bakery, just thinking of that. God, I wish Mia was playing grab ass with you right now. Man, poor guy. Dude, speaking of Cabañas, man, I feel sorry for the guy, man.
I think you have to.
I mean, the wife and lawyer just left him with nothing.
Do you want to just briefly?
Wait, what happened? He got a divorce?
Yeah.
His wife divorced him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just obviously he's not at full capacity anymore, obviously because of the gunshot to his head, but just a couple months back, like 2-3 months back, I was reading that he was basically playing like 3rd division, 4th division over there in his native country, but I mean he wasn't even getting paid. He's working for his parents' bakery, which is, when you look at the pictures, I mean you could tell it's like almost like a rural town. I mean, nothing extravagant, nothing that really you would make a living with. I mean, that's what it appeared like, on the video and the camera. But apparently his ex-wife and his lawyer screwed him out of a lot of money. And it's funny because the wife came back to America asking for more money. Well, I mean, I don't think it was the wife. I think it was more so the lawyers,
Damn, that's sad, man.
It is. It's sad. I mean, what was it like? Also, about 2 3 months back, the player that had that aneurysm. What is it? Woody Sanchez. Do you guys remember him? Carlos and Woody Sanchez. He had an aneurysm in couple years back. This was
He's from
2000.
Toluca, right?
What's that?
Toluca? From Toluca?
He's from America. He's from America. He's Woody Sanchez. He also had the same thing that what's his name, Calero had, like a brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
But he wasn't able. He didn't die obviously, but he recovered, but never to the point where he would be playing professional sports. But obviously America being the employer at the time, took care of obviously the medical, paid a pension of sorts, but they're suing America again.
You have to assume that someone like him, he probably has a coaching career at least to.
Well, honestly, I think that Woodley Sanchez. I think obviously you want to you want to side with the little guy, but sometimes these guys try to abuse and they just see dollar signs and they think that these big companies just have an unlimited checkbook and they want to basically secure their future. I think that Willie Sanchez in the long run is hurting himself because, like you said, he could study, a coaching career. He could be a youth coach. He could be something like that. But I think, obviously, the fact that he went against his former club in court, he's persona non grata. He's going to be like, he'll be the equivalent of like Salvador, Carmona, someone that will never ever work again in football, at least in Mexico.
Well, what a Debbie Downer.
International team talk.
Yeah.
I saw on Twitter this guy Jesse Gonzalez, Portero.
Yeah.
He said he was going to go to the U.S. and actually I think he accepted the call up.
Yeah.
He's now rejected it and said he's going to the U23s for Mexico.
No. Is that the one that we were talking about in Facebook, Beto?
I don't remember. He's in Dallas, FC Dallas.
Yeah. Because remember, there was one where I posted he accepted. He's the under 20. He accepted the U.S. call up, and I'm thinking, and I thought I said that the reason I think he probably's taken that is because he knows himself, where he knows where he's at on the totem pole. Because you have Richard Sanchez from the guy that was with FC Dallas. Obviously he does well. You have Gudinho, over there in Porto, and obviously you right now. You have Ochoa, you have Corona, you have Talavera. So you have a bunch of guys that are above him right now, and obviously the younger guys like Gudinho and Richard Sanchez. I don't know. I don't know if that was the best move for him to stay with Mexico. I think he was probably better off going with the U.S., to be honest.
I've heard from some fans that he's actually he might be better than Gudinho right now. So he actually has a chance of getting playing time with Mexico's first team in the future.
If I was him, I would have secured something. I would have secured some type of guarantee or something from Mexico before doing this because he left them hanging. They only called up 2 keepers now because he left them. So it's like a sort of a big deal.
Maybe Chivas is gonna
something like that though.
Signing with a first team in Mexico is my guess. Some kind of maybe Chivas is gonna sign him. Hopefully.
Mexico's not going to, the federation's not going to give these players that sort of, like, they're not going to concede that, they're not going to concede, playing time or I guarantee you if you come with us, you'll play this tournament or stuff like that, I don't think they didn't do that. They didn't do that with Neri Castillo,
That's what I was gonna say. They did it for Neri. Why couldn't they do it for?
No, they did. They didn't. They didn't.
Allegedly. And America never financed any refs car loan or for house payment, right?
Well,
Allegedly.
now the allegedly was Pachuca. With the Martinez group, basically allegedly doing
Well,
that to what's the name, Ramos Rizzo and Archundia and stuff.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say about the scout that was the Cocas. He allegedly has some players for he was a Pachuca's head scout.
Yeah. Pachuca, like I said, man, they're a little too involved. Not so much in the football operation like the ownership, but I think they're a little too involved in the federation, especially in the officiating. Like when the officials go to Pachuca to the University of Football to have training sessions, apparently like they really roll out the red carpet for them. Obviously with the facilities and stuff like that, that they have over there.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch real quick on the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's that a mistake, even or I could see how it would be a mistake if he did choose going with the U.S. because there's no guarantee that he's going to be able to lock down a spot there. I mean, the guys that they have. I mean, Guzan looks like he's next in line. Not that he's like incredibly good, but I don't see anything that he's going to be able to replace him anytime soon. And it's not like Jurgen Klinsmann has these Mexican American players haven't exactly. They'll get called up, but they don't seem to be consistently called up and become like legit players for the actual team. They look. It seems more like they played bit roles.
You know what? Their January call-ups for the U.S. team. They're not really. They're like experimental, like looking at players they might consider one day. So even if he did accept it, it wouldn't cap tie him, but it might cause Mexico to not call him up anymore because he's not cap tied to Mexico either. So
Well, on this article that I'm reading, it says that he just got barraged on Twitter, but it also says that the Mexican Federation pressured him. They said, "Don't go to the U.S." So they're. I don't know if that's a show of interest, but it was pretty much saying, "Don't do that. That's not the right career path for you."
Well, how little does Yarborough feel then? I mean, in Ventura Alvarado.
those guys they're cap tied, right?
Well, yeah, they're cap tied. They're officially cap tied to the U.S. and I mean, and when they asked, Yarborough, and when they asked, Ventura Alvarado, they basically gave cliched answers, like the type of answers that you would expect a professional to answer. It's like, well, Mexico never called me, so I mean, so they were avoiding the question as to like, who would you? It's like, well, no, Mexico never called me.
Well, he said in an interview before, Yarborough did.
Yeah.
He said, "I would go with Mexico, and only go with Mexico." So
I don't remember. I never saw that one. I never heard that one. I did hear Ventura Alvarado. I mean, and when he was asked that question point blank, and he said, "Well, Mexico never did call me."
Yeah, I think they're a little.
For some of these players, though, you can always say though that they wouldn't be called.
Yeah, exactly. They're a little bit older. This guy's younger, so he has sort of some time and flexibility. Those guys are older. They knew they would never play for Mexico, so take a chance with the U.S.
Well, I mean, most of the players that are on the U.S. or that were basically born in the U.S. or part of the U.S. system that are, in the Mexico's youth teams, it seems like most of them are defensive or goalkeepers. I don't. I mean, I really can't think of players that are really, on the offensive side.
Cachirules Gomez, but he was born in Las Vegas.
But his career really came up. He started to play better when he came to the U.S. or when he came to Mexico.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name? The Carlos. He was with Chivas, the bald guy.
I don't remember his name, but
He grew up in the U.S. Carlos Ochoa.
Carlos Ochoa, yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is that I think one of these the Hispanic this Mexican American players that are playing here in the U.S. and then trying to go to Mexico, obviously for more money and to play in a better league. I think you're going to see keepers and defenders, not so much players on the attack, because obviously they're not playing in a system that really handles the ball well. You know what I mean?
Like Cabañas?
Oh, Jesus. Come on.
I get exactly what you're saying. They don't have the technical skills in the U.S. You're not going to grow in the U.S. with technical skills like you would in Mexico. So
exactly.
they,
So, I
Juan, is that
it's
true? I mean,
That's you know what it is. They haven't gone through the Cascarita Legend training method, is what it is.
that's northern Mexico though, man. So I'll give you guys some props. And you guys developed Landon Donovan. Cascarita.
No, actually, that guy was trained by an English guy. His name's Clint Greenwood. He was a good he's a popular youth coach in his time.
But didn't he grow up like playing with Mexicans and learning Spanish and
in San Bernardino, I think, which is predominantly Hispanic, I guess.
It's mixed. I mean, you got Arcadia there, which is Santa Anita, where Santa Anita Park is at. But yeah, he grew. But his main coach that he credits for developing his technique is Clint Greenwood. And actually, that guy, a lot of his players, they did go to Mexico and they just didn't, for one reason or another. In fact, there's one story of one kid that he kind of went, like, he was a little older. He was 17, or maybe 18 or 19 at the time, and he was at Tecos when Piojo was there. And Piojo saw him play, and he told him, "Hey, you know what, man? You have a lot of potential. You should if you change a few things, you're gonna go far." And he goes, "You know what, Piojo? I appreciate your feedback, but this is the way I've been playing, and it's opened doors for me, and I'm not gonna change." And Piojo's response allegedly was, "Chinga tu madre, entonces, güey."
Well, to that note,
Typical Mexican, man. That's amazing.
to that comment that Ronnie was saying about the technical skills in Mexico, did you guys see that video I posted of those kids playing in the park?
Yeah.
That's
That was very pedophile-ish of you. I mean, on which grown man? What type of grown man goes to a park and starts video?
A dad does that.
It's a pickup game. It's a cascarita, man. What do you think?
That's what dads do. They hang around. They see the kids. They're like, hey,
unmarked van.
It's only creepy if you're single.
Like, you got a sign that says free candy on the side.
Free churros.
Oh snap! Churros con relleno.
If that was a little creepy part, Beto.
You were hanging out at the park, Beto, filming kids.
He was filming.
Oh, there's a market right next to it, so I was like, oh, what's this? Like, these dudes are playing some soccer, so I go and check them out. And they had some pretty good skills, man.
Yeah, and he was jamming to Jethro Tull, like the song, sitting on a park bench, eyeing little girls. it's never mind. You guys don't know that song.
How close were you to the action, Beto? Did you start breathing heavily?
I'm boarding this.
He's gonna erase it. He's gonna erase it for my kids.
I'm just glad to hear Joel pipe up and start speaking.
All right, so moving on. I wanted to hear your opinion just real quick on Juan. So, do you think that technical players can be developed here in the States?
Yeah, I think they can, because look, what do they like? A lot of a very popular style here is to kind of sit back and close the spaces, and you'd actually be surprised which coaches do these kinds of things, and which coaches emphasize technique, a good first touch, good 1v1 skills. But I think they can. I think they just don't. How do you say? Some of those players, they're late bloomers, and sometimes they don't get the chance, or they're just, for one reason or another, there's really no opportunities but to go to college. And I mean, those players are there, man. They're just You know what tripped me out one time is I went to actually, I got licensed here, and I went to one of the sessions. The guy who's I won't say his name, but he was the facilitator, and he's like a big guy in the region as far as the U.S. soccer. It's broken down regionally, and he said, "Oh, if you guys see a good player, you can recommend them for the what they call ODP, which is the Olympic Development Program." He goes, "But we're looking for a certain type of players. We don't want technical players." And so, to me, that kind of said, okay, they don't want the guys with skill. They want guys that can run fast, they're strong, and I mean, I don't know if you guys followed that American kid at Barcelona, the Ben Letterman.
No, I didn't realize that there was an American.
Yeah,
player.
that guy got rejected. He basically failed there,
No,
and
so what happened with him was Barcelona got into a ban because they were signing underage. Here's the story. That kid, they saw him play in a tournament when his team went to play a tournament in Spain. And so the scouts, the coaches, they approached the parents and they said, "Hey, look, your son's really talented. If he was born on this side of the Atlantic, or if he found his way here, we'd be able to enroll him into the academy, but we can't recruit you because technically they're not supposed to recruit. But if the parents moved for reasons outside of soccer, the kid could supposedly join. But what ended up happening is FIFA came down hard on them for all these players that were 11, 12 in their academy, and all the whole families had moved, and they were kind of, how do you say, operating in a gray area as far as the rules.
Yeah.
And so FIFA came down, they cracked down on them on that. But going back to this American kid, that's the reason he had to leave. But if you look at, he was called up to the U.S. national team, the U15s, and if you look at all his teammates, he's the smallest guy on the field. The rest of his teammates are big, they're strong, they're fast for their age group, and he's physically the smallest guy there, but I mean, his brain's, how do you say, operating 50% faster. He's got the Neanderthal gene there, I guess, and he's reading the plays, he's seeing the spaces before they're there, he's seeing the pass before it's there. His first touch is like it's, I don't know, what did that guy say, magisterial. I mean, he's a very talented kid, very technical. Physically he's not developed yet. So if he was on this side of the Atlantic, you probably would never hear about him.
Juan, seems like you've seen him play.
Yeah, I saw.
Were you with Chiquis? No?
No.
He's certified though. He's certified.
I was on the other side of the street, and I had the ice cream truck. Chiquis had the noodle truck.
No
way, you can't mix the two. What's up?
Where'd you see him play?
No, I saw video of him play actually. I saw when he was with the U.S. national team. There's video up, and of course you can always catch them because they're always at the, what's it called now, StubHub. Whenever they do any camps and they announce them, that's where they're gonna be.
They've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, so
The U.S. like especially at the beginning of the year.
yeah. So but even the youth teams go there usually.
Yeah, no, they've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
Usually
exactly.
they do it in January, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but I saw a
going
video
back-
of him. I saw a video of him playing some friendlies, and I mean he looked like he's a good player. The Barcelona type of player. He's not a typical, how do you say, like if you compare him to like a Break Shea or one of those guys. I mean or Josie Altidore. He's completely different skill set. At least right now.
I seen videos of him and he was okay. He was not out of this world, and I'm sure if he was like another Messi coming of Messi, they would have figured something out to keep him over there at Barcelona. He was nothing special.
No,
I
I mean
just heard common Messi.
You sound salty.
yeah, dude. I mean, come on, dude. Messi's like a once in a lifetime player, and Argentina's had two in less than how many years? 30 years. That's amazing, man.
Perna,
What's
what
in
did
the
you
water?
say? Hey, Perna, what did you say? Something about coming Messi? What?
What's on your mind, dude?
I'm
Is
still trying to think.
The churros.
Yeah, you're thinking about that churro with the squishy thing in the middle.
The relleno,
Yeah.
chocolate
That's what I'm
relleno, Ronnie.
What's
Do you,
that?
do you prefer the churro with the chocolate or with the vanilla?
El choco milkao one.
Hey, I want to disagree with Juan a little bit though on the youth and the technical skills in the U.S.
Yes, please.
I get the coaches teach like having a good one touch and having good passing skills and all that and ball handling skills, but it's up to the kid to actually take those skills and practice. If they practice like twice, if they practice twice,
Well, that's the thing that
and it's not gonna work. They got to take it home. They got to have a passion for it. And in Mexico, they play like it's demonstrated. They'll play in the streets. They'll play in the park. They'll play everywhere. In their house, they'll break lamps and windows and stuff.
You mean in Mexico or what do you mean?
In Mexico or in the U.S., it's not as common. You usually put it up, and you don't play until you go out to the nice green field for soccer practice, which happens twice, maybe 3 times a week, and that's it.
In the younger ages, I can tell you about LA specifically. There's certain zones where that does happen. You have kids that let's say they join club at 6 years old, and they're training three times a week, and then in addition maybe they get a game or two with their club team, but they're also playing 3-4 times a week. In a local Sunday league, and then also on the weekends another 2 or 3 games. So that does happen. It happens. Once a certain age level, though, it's just the lifestyle here is different. And like for example, I think at about 13 or 14, you do need that Beto. You need that training, that 3-4 times a week training, maybe 2 days, certain weeks. Plus that week, and I guess they're moving towards that, but it's a little bit of pay to play as far as their academy. Now, if you look at the non-academy teams that are like local community teams, I mean at the older ages you can't. There's no way for them to train that many times. Just the logistics, the field space, you gotta pay. It costs money. You need a field, you need to pay for it, you need a insurance for it, you need a coach that has the expertise, you need to pay him, and
Also the scouts, Juan. I believe they only scout from certain leagues.
yeah, certain teams definitely, and
They won't go to where Chiquis goes.
Hey, I scouted some kids for you, Juan.
oh hey, send them my way, but send them my way, dude.
Just need a coyote.
Well, all right, let's do it. We'll arrange it. Ronnie's gonna finance. He'll get the 50% of the rights. We'll have Jolie to write the promos, and Pern can be in charge of hyping them.
Yeah.
And Dano
I'm
will
not a
have to
Chivas
register.
player.
Dano will have to register them as his kids. We got this, man.
Well, we definitely can't leave him with Beto.
Yeah. So supervised visitations.
So are we done, guys? Or is there anything else? Do you guys want to give like some quick actual predictions of who's going to win the league, or before we wrap things up, or is there anything else you guys want to chit chat about?
You know what? Conejo Perez wins his last title and he retires, rides into the sun, with Gringo Gonzalez being the hero.
Is that your prediction?
Yeah.
All right.
But Tomas Boy quits before the final.
Okay. Fernando, you want to go next? Who's your league winner?
Well, it's gonna be a tight final between Monterrey and Chiapas, and I really don't know who would be the winner there, but I think Monterrey has what it takes to go over the top.
So either way you look at it, La Volpe destroys another team, right, Pern?
It's the natural way of things. Something must die while he's around. Something must go to shit.
Yep. Yeah.
I predict Almeida's gonna get sacked.
No, I don't think so. Actually,
Halfway through. Halfway through the
Almeida's
season.
already won silverware. That could win him a couple of seasons. You know.
That might buy him.
Yeah, no.
That might buy him some time, though.
No, it not with Vergara, dude.
But I will say though, when Chivas does get relegated, he will get sacked.
No, they brought
It wouldn't make sense then, because he's an expert in relegation, in promotion, I would say.
Well, I'm just saying, because what if all of a sudden there's some things out of their control, like what if Dorados does extremely well and they just can't catch up?
We can thank Nestor for seeing all the Chivas players there. Always a silver lining.
Yeah, Nestor really ruined the team.
I know you like to be super pessimistic, Julian, for good reason, but I think your guys are probably going to be okay, and I think your coach is going to make it through the season. But we'll see. Care to give a league winner, or is that as far as you're willing to bet?
Yeah, I don't. I'll see Toluca. I'll say Toluca wins it.
It's so salty, man. Why not America?
You know why? Because he's got Talavera there, the Chivas Canterano, so we can always say Chivas Cantera producing.
Well, in that case, might as well Dorados be the league winner then.
Good point.
No, I actually think America could probably win, not this one, but the next one.
When Wemes comes back?
Yeah, and they're looking for another top signing, but I think they're gonna be affected a bit with the no preseason.
Hey, a surprise signing from Europe. Pulido signs with America.
To sell what? Churros?
Did he?
Droney dropped.
So,
Yeah.
Juan, what are your predictions, dude? League winner, or do you want to go off? Do you agree that Almeida's going to be fired?
No, I don't think Almeida's gonna get fired, dude. I think the teams. I mean, look, they brought in Pineda, they brought in Goulet. They got a good, strong. They got a good, strong supporting cast.
But wait, Juan, you were saying that
that's what I was gonna mention. We didn't see the best of Conejo Brizuela last season. If you notice, got rid of some dead weight in Chaton, sent him off on loan, which is actually, you know what, Jolie, we can second guess why the moves or how the moves were done, but I mean overall, they're instead of selling Chaton, they sent him on loan.
But no, I'm saying one of your criticisms last season was that the team, they needed more players.
Yeah.
Aren't they in the same boat now?
Right, but they're still focused on the league. I mean, unless you say because they're not gonna play Libertadores yet, right?
No, I know.
Yeah, so I think they brought in two quality players. The only issue is they didn't bring in a forward, and I guess Saldivar and Marco Antonio Granados is being promoted, and there's another player, Cisneros, that they were hyping up.
I got a prediction for Chivas. The next title that Vergara is going to lift up is going to be the tournament for Ascenso. They're going to descend, and then they're going to come back up, and Vergara is going to go out on the pitch. He's going to be like, "Yeah, we got it. We're back in first division."
They'll throw a parade.
Yeah, that whole parade and stuff. Then my other prediction was just that what I said earlier was like America's either going to win the title or Ambriz is going to get fired this.
Cool. Ronnie, anything to add?
Well, my top four, obviously, I already said who are going to be my top four. If America can keep the heads cool, I think that they should be able to win. I mean, they've had they have a good team. Obviously, Tigres also has a good team as well. But I think they have probably the deepest bench. I'd like, I think America's going to win, but like I said, I gave my 4. It's going to be America, Tigres, Cruz Azul, and Toluca. What I would like to see is I'd like to see Cruz Azul get to the final and lose at the end, and I'd like to see Chivas relegated. That would really make me happy.
Excellent. My prediction, I guess, I'm predicting a Monterrey final. I was really surprised that Monterrey didn't make the playoffs last season. I'd be shocked if they don't turn it around drastically. I'm thinking they're going to bounce back pretty hard. But the reason I don't see America winning is for the same reasons they lost this last season. Is that I don't think Nacho has complete control of the team, or at least not in a way that's going to keep them from hurting themselves. As much as I would, part of me would like to see Chivas get relegated. I don't think they will be. Dorados will probably go back down. And I'm hopeful that my Santos are able to get back into the Liguilla, which I think they will.
Hey, I think Zizou is gonna bring Gignac back to Real Madrid. Watch by the end of this season.
Well, the Inter rumors, did they just fade away, or probably, if anything, that move would probably happen during the next transfer window? Anywho, I guess that kind of should be wrapping things up, guys. Thank you for joining us. First podcast of the year. I think it went off pretty good. So Fernando, John, who's no longer with us today, but
rest in
was
peace.
here for a while. Sorry, he passed away. John, thanks for joining us. Joel, Juan, Beto, Ronnie, and for myself, Daniel, we are Los Cachirules. Thank you for joining us. We will talk to you next time.
Oh my god.
Hey, but they didn't win anything. You shouldn't play their theme.